2, 1, get 'em!
This week's episode is brought to you by Salt Creek, some of the best steel and TSS on the market, and Kicks Industries. The Smoke Series is my favorite. Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live in the podcast. My name is RD. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight in a short little distance. So there's a lot going on in the podcast room. Hopefully you can hear me good. Hopefully there's not a whole lot of noise. I got a new microphone. I got a new camera. I got a setup, got some new lights. How's it all sound? Couldn't tell you because we're live. So y'all comment and tell me, is it too loud? Is it just right? What do you think? New camera? It zooms? Check that out. That's pretty cool. So maybe my face looks even better. Maybe. One would only hope. So hopefully everybody's having a good Wednesday night. I know that USA is playing right now in the soccer. So I know a bunch of my fellas are giving me a hard time for not watching soccer. I'm not a big soccer fan, but look right here. Oh, there it is. I got the soccer game on. So if anything goes on, we're going to know about it. So I will keep y'all posted because I'm sure everybody would rather watch me than the soccer. But hopefully everybody's having a good Wednesday. It is goodness gracious hot out there. I used to say that South Carolina was the armpit of the South. I was wrong. It's Florida. Florida is Satan's breath. With that being said, last week I was not on the live. I know everybody probably tuned in and was like, where's RD at? Well, he was in Florida. It was dance competition. And so we went to Orlando and it was unreal. Like, I was not prepared for that humidity. It made South Carolina feel like air conditioned. So with that being said, I did purchase some stuff. I got a new microphone. I got a new Rode microphone, so hopefully it's sounding good. Somebody comment and tell me now that a couple of people are watching, what's it sound like? Is it good, loud? Do I need to turn the volume up? But I also purchased a couple of cameras. I purchased not this camera that you are looking at. I purchased a Insta360 camera. Wow. I may never buy another GoPro. Like, it is legit awesome. Like, when you're recording, it has two cameras one on the front, one on the back. It records both cameras live. So when you go back to record or play it, you had the opportunity to pan and save your videos like live. Maybe not live, but after you already recorded, next day, whatever, you're going to look at it. If you hit play and whatever you want to look at is over here, you just pan it and it saves it. So when you hit play, it's like walking, pan. So here's my scenario. This is the reason why I wanted it. I plan to put it at the front of the kayak. That way it is pointing outwards. You may see the duck flying in, but it also has that back camera. So it's going to be like bird, and you'll see us. And then hopefully if we do our job and harvest the bird, we'll probably miss, but hey, if we get the chance to harvest it, when I go back to play the video, I will be able to do like bird shot. You will see us standing, aiming, shoot, bird fall, all in the same edit. Like, that's the plan. I think it should work that way. It's a really cool camera. If you haven't looked into the Insta 360 cameras, Insta 360 is the brand, but they make a whole lot of other cameras. They make regular cameras that look like GoPros. They make cameras like you see right here. That's an Insta camera, but it's not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is smaller, about the size of this Roku stick, and it's got a camera on both sides. So I picked that up, started playing with it, really like it. You should see some content soon. People saying, where's your Saturday content, your long form? It's coming back, baby. I got one strike removed. The next one goes off on the 3rd, so we will be strike free come this weekend. So hopefully that goes good, and y'all definitely will start seeing some long format, because I got a lot of video that I got to post. But right now, just on the score, it's still 0-0. But USA is going to pull it out. We're going all the way. Probably not. It's probably going to be like my Gamecocks. But while we were in Orlando, like I said earlier, this was a dance competition. So my daughter dances. Somewhat expensive, if you want to call it that way. It is expensive. So I was like, my son kind of gets left out on the dance thing. We're going to be in Orlando. Maybe I just take him out on a chartered fishing trip. Yeah, that sounds like a really good plan. Man, we go out on a charter, big deep sea fishing. I think that's what we ought to do. Until I started Googling the price of real charter guided service just for me and him. Yeah, I couldn't afford it. It was like $3,000 to $4,000. And most of that is in fuel, because to really go deep sea fishing, you got to at least go 20 miles plus out. Like, that's a lot of fuel, and them boats take a lot of fuel. But with that being said, when I was Googling, I found a commercial fishing service that was very, very reasonable. There's going to be videos on it. It was out of Cape Canaveral, which is only like, by mileage, like 45 minutes from Orlando. But with the traffic, oh my gosh, it is terrible, especially this time, because everybody's going to Disney and all them. It's just terrible. Took an hour and a half to get there, an hour and a half back. So we get there, and it's the Orlando Princess and the Orlando, I can't think of the other boat, but they got two boats. They offer full day, all day fishing. They offer half day, and they offer nighttime shark fishing. So when I pulled it up, they have 100 spots on this boat. 100 fishing rods. I mean, it's a massive boat too. It ain't no little boat. I mean, it's probably, well, I don't even know, maybe 60, 70 feet long. Maybe, I really don't know. But when I looked at the prices, I was blown away. Now, this is 2026, July 1st, 2026. So when I quote something, that's what I paid for it then. It was like, I knew that he wanted to go deep sea fishing. He has talked about shark fishing and shark fishing and shark fishing. He just loves fishing. So I thought, hey, we'll go do a half a day, which was you don't know what kind of fish you're going to catch, just all type of fishing. And then a nighttime dedicated to shark fishing. I was like, that sounds like a good idea to me. I'm going to do both. We're going to do both. And I booked it on a Wednesday for the regular, and then I booked it on Saturday night for the shark fishing, because they only did shark fishing, what I thought was one time a week. So we go Wednesday, we go out like 15, 18 miles. It took an hour and a half to get out there. You fished for about 4 hours. They just kept moving you. On top of this, let me get back to that. Well, I hadn't really said the price yet. So where do I want to start? Let's start at the price. I couldn't afford for both of us to go. Well, I could, but it would really hurt my hunting season tremendously. So when I found this and I looked at the prices, I was blown away, like blown away. So me and him, now he did get the child rate, which was just a hair. I mean, like, I think $20 cheaper. So it was me, him, lunch, which included a hamburger or a hot dog with tater chips and fountain drinks. And the fountain drinks are unlimited. So me, him, the food, lunch, unlimited drinks, your fishing rod, your license, and your bait, all included. It was like $170 something for half a day. That was not bad. And you're gonna say that's a kind of expensive. Not when you're talking a boat that carries you all the way out in the middle of the ocean. Like, we were so far out there, I could not see land anywhere. Like Cape Canaveral, big towers right there where they shoot the rockets and everything. Could not see it from how far were away. Now, once we came back in about 30 minutes, you can barely see the tower, and then, obviously you got closer, but you were out there, like way out there. A lot of people call a lot of different things. Catfish, which they were sea catfish, and they looked exactly like our channel cats. Like, it was very, very funny. It looked like our channel cat went out in the ocean. I was reading the text and got sidetracked. So very calm. The boat had 2 separate bathrooms, one for the men, one for the women. Had air conditioning. That was a plus. The center part was air conditioned. It had a second layer up top that had more seats on there. Really cool. We got hung on a couple stuff. Because they carry you out to the reefs and stuff, about 40 feet deep. Good many people were catching stuff. We didn't catch anything. I hung something, like I cranked and cranked and cranked and cranked and cranked, and I don't know if it got wrapped around a reef or something. I lost the fish. But we had a really good time. Coming back in, a humongous chef cloud. Like, it was storming like crazy inland. The chef cloud was amazing. So that was the half day. So we get back almost to the port or the dock or whatever you want to call it, the landing. Really, it was a port, but this was the same place that the cruise ships come out of. Like, literally, you can see the cruise ships at Cape Canaveral. So when we get back to the port, my phone goes, burn, and I look at it, and it says, hey, we're offering a shark night hunt, 50% off. I'm like, 50% off? I mean, so that was like, what, $75, something like that? I'm like, I'm already drove an hour and a half. I really ain't got nothing to do because we pretty much struck the day off as fishing. Called the wife. I'm like, you mind if we fish? She was like, no, you already drove that far. And for that price, why not go ahead and shark fish? I thought it was a killer deal. So we went shark fishing. There's a restaurant next door. We went and got supper, because the shark fishing one don't have food, but they do have the refillable or fountain drinks for you, and the bait and the license and fishing rods and everything else. They're nice fishing rods too. They were all Penn fishing rods, which Penn makes really good fishing rods. So they were all Penn made fishing rods. We went and got something to eat. We went back out. We went probably 30 minutes out. You could see the coast. It was just enough, depending on where you stood, that you still had a cell phone signal. Now, The morning before, when we went way out there was no cell phone signal. Once you couldn't see land, it was over. But shark fishing, we were just enough that depending on where you were at on the boat, you had signal. So we both got something that reel it, shark break the line. Kind of got it, our senses on what to do, what not to do. I used it as a great experience for the coming Saturday because we knew what we was going to expect. I mean, it was dark. Like when it got dark, it was dark out there. You couldn't see nothing. So it was pretty cool. We didn't catch anything shark fishing. I think a couple people caught some sharks. They got a lot of rules on sharks, certain sizes, certain kind. Yeah, it's a lot of rules, but they help you with that. There's a lot of crew on board that help you with everything. If you break a hook or break a line or rip the whole leader off, they're already tying you back up. I mean, it is legit really nice. Like I said, it is right there at Port Canaveral. So if you are going on a cruise in Port Canaveral, look up this site. Look up the Orlando Princess, and I can't remember what the other one is, but they're right there beside, like, in Port Canaveral. I would say if you're going on a cruise, look, because you could maybe catch a shark afternoon fishing, and then make the boat the next day. So if you go one day early, you could go deep sea fishing. Try to work it into your plans because I'm telling you, it's really nice. So Saturday rolled around and we went back shark fishing, nighttime shark fishing, and man, Noah got on them, boy. I mean, he was getting on them, and I mean, he was cranking as hard as he could crank. They were trying to help pull it up. He lost both fish. About an hour later, I hooked a massive hammerhead. And I'm talking about, I worked that fish. We went from one side of the boat to the other side of the boat, just to cranking. I got so tired of cranking that the crew had to crank, and then back to me, and then back to the crew, and then back to me, and we finally got up maybe 4.5. I wouldn't think 5 foot shark. I would think definitely 4.5. No clue how much it weighed. The head on it was about that big. So it was a pretty nice hammerhead shark. And like I said, had to put it back because there's so many rules on hammerheads, and I don't even know all the rules of sharks. So about 30 minutes later, another young boy, I'd say 16, 20, somewhere around in there, caught a massive shark. They went from the side to the back to the other side, all the way to the back and to the front. And we finally got a glimpse of it when it came up to the boat. It had to be 7 foot, easily 7 foot shark. I mean, massive. They get it up to the boat, and by this time I'm on top recording, and I'm looking down, and I couldn't get a picture where they were, but the shark actually hit the boat. They were trying to get the shark over the side. And I mean, this is a big boat. This ain't no little boat. This is a big boat. You wait, you see the video. Big boat. They trying to get the shark in. I mean, this is a 7 foot shark. It's a big shark. It breaks the line. They drop it and it goes back in. It was awesome. That's all I can say. I had a great experience. Not gonna lie, that second night was really windy. When it got dark, I didn't have a bit of problem the day the Wednesday when I was out there all day. Didn't have a bit of problem. I didn't have a problem Saturday night until it got dark. When it got dark, it was really windy, and I felt a little. Not like wanting to throw up, just like my balance was like, when you get old, you try to do spinny things and your equilibrium gets off. That's how I was feeling. And I'm like, I need to sit down and get some air. So I sit down for like 5 minutes, got everything back normal. But when it got dark, and I'm talking about some pretty decent sized waves out there, um, at the building where you check in, they had medicine there for motion sickness. The first day I took a half a pill. I gave Noah half a pill and we were good. So the second day when we went out, I was like, we did good. We only took a half a pill and we didn't even need it. We ain't even gonna take it. That could have been all I needed. I don't know. The man said usually there was a woman to the right there. She was more motion. I mean, she was motion sickness. But he said if you were already motion sickness and you take the pill, it kind of makes things worse before it makes it better. And I was like, I'm not feeling that bad, so I didn't take it. But I might have should have at the very beginning, but looking back, what can you do? But we had a really good time. I highly recommend if you go to Cape Canaveral down there out of a cruise, highly look these people up. Maybe you could do it when you come back from a cruise. Like I said, you can do a half day. The short fishing was 4 hours from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Like you leave the dock at 6 and you're back at 10. So you're only talking 4 hours. And there's hotels down through there too. So highly recommend it. It was very fun. It was very, very hot. I really thought, this is just me again, I really thought once we got out in the ocean, it would be a whole lot cooler. Like you would, when you're sitting on the beach and you feel the wind from the waves, it was just as hot out there as it was. But like I said, it had air conditioning. So the Wednesday during the early part, what we did was they had depth finders on the boat. They were looking for fish, so they would pull up to this spot. There wasn't no fish there, they would move on. So when they cut the engine off, that meant that was time for you to fish. And when they cranked the engine back up, that means reel back up and they were moving. So we used the time that they were moving to eat. And like I said, it was air conditioned. I'm talking about nice air conditioning. There was a lot of people in there, like girlfriends, wives. They were in the cabin area reading books, watching iPads and stuff like that. But little man, he didn't have no problems on the boat. The Wednesday half day, there was probably, I don't know, 60 people. That nighttime fishing, maybe 20. Do they offer the nighttime fishing in the middle of the week after? I wouldn't bank on it. I had no idea how they worked that. Like I said, it was just it wasn't even on the calendar that they were doing nighttime shark fishing. So I don't know. But had a great time. One of the times I was reeling mine up to check the bait, like just reeling it in, not even like paying attention. Basically it's just like catfishing at like Santee. You flip the lever, the weight goes straight down your bottom, fishing. But I was reeling it in, and when I say these deep sea fishing rods, if you ever seen a deep sea fishing rod, you know what I'm talking about. That rod bent in half, and went pow. Like I didn't get hung on anything. I was almost up to the boat. And I'm talking about when it was nothing left. It took my swivel, my weight, my hook. It cleaned house. Like whatever shark that was, it had to be a shark because unless it was a dolphin or who knows what bigger, it was something big to take that big old line that they had on them reels and just like ninja I mean, whatever it was, it went straight down, bent in half. I was glad I was holding on to the rod while I was reeling it in, because I'm telling you, it about took it out of my hand. And when it went whoo, it came back up, and there was nothing there. It was gone. Everything was gone. And it wasn't just a little bit later, little man was letting his line out, and you got to keep your thumb on the back. It's like a big old bait caster. I mean, when you throw a bait caster, you got to keep your thumb so you don't backlash. Well, he was keeping his thumb on there, and same scenario, something hit it. He had his thumb on the reel, and it reeled so fast it sucked his thumb up into the reel, which then it spinning burnt his finger, and I had to try to grab the line and flip the lever to stop it, and he cranked and cranked and cranked and cranked and lost it. Now, what I did find with this, like I said, this was my first time ever deep sea fishing. I mean, I'm 40 plus years old. That's why I told little man, I'm like, I'm 40 something years old. I have never been deep sea fishing. Here you are, young, and you getting this opportunity. And I mean, he loved it. I'm talking about loved it, all of it. He loved. But yeah, what we noticed was, if you let it hit the bottom, come up a little bit, you had a better chance of catching something. We also learned how to bait the hooks a little bit better than we were doing, going behind the eyes. They were using sardines that were like this big, and wasn't octopus. It might have been squid, something like that. But man, I had a good time. I mean, I can't say nothing else about it. We had a blast. A lot of people on there. The Saturday night when we went back, there was probably 60 people on the boat, which is a lot of people. And you stand here and the person beside you, and the lines do get tangled. So when you reeling it in, you may have somebody else's line, but the line is so thick, it's not like a knot. Like, you just pull it and it just comes apart, because I mean, it's like 50-pound test line or something like that. I mean, it's pretty thick. It's kind of hard to get a knot in it. But man, we had a good time. Other than that, we went to a couple pawn shops. We did a little bit, trying to do a little bit of bass fishing. We went everywhere through central Miami, and I didn't like most of Miami. Like, it is houses on top of houses on top of road. And literally, if you looked on the map and said, oh, this is only 5 miles away, you better banked on 20, 30 minutes of driving. Like, it was. Now, granted, I know that, Brandel, it was prime season. I get it. I understand. But I mean, wherever we went to, it was just crazy packed. Went to the Bass Pro Shop. Went to a bunch of gun stores, and every gun store down there had a range. And when I say I went to a good many gun stores, I went to a good many. And it took me like the third or fourth one to realize, like, why do they all have gun ranges? Like, at home here, we got, they're everywhere here too, gun stores. And I was like, why do they all have gun ranges? And then it dawned on me, like the third or fourth one when we went in, it was like, you dummy, they can't just go shoot in their backyard. Like, they can't go over to their friend's house and practice in the backyard. Like, their houses are like everywhere. You can't do it. So they all have to go to the gun range. We went to this one big old gun store. They had, I don't even know how many ranges they had in there, but they had like a 15-yard, a 25, a 50, and then upstairs, I mean, massive building like Palmetto State Armory, South Columbia building, that big, but 2 stories. The whole upper top was 100-yard range. That's probably the first time I ever been somewhere that had 100-yard indoor range. But that was pretty much our trip to Florida. We came back through Georgia, and we stopped at Jay Bird's house. Jay went and picked up a mech reloader for me. I found one on Facebook Marketplace, for a 28 gauge. I got one mech 28 gauge, and I got it set up for Winchester Super A's or AA's for 28 gauge, and I'm reloading for waterfowl now. And I didn't want to change my setup because once you get it dialed in and it's running perfect, you kind of don't want to mess with it. So I found this one on Facebook Marketplace. I hit Jay up and I'm like, hey man, is this near you? He's like, man, that's just right down the road. I'm like, hey, I'll PayPal you some money. Go pick it up. And he went and picked it up. And so I stopped in Georgia and picked that up for him. But I tell you, every fast food restaurant that we went to last week was terrible. Like, either didn't get it right, you were missing something, or you had to go back through. I mean, I'm talking Chick-fil-A to McDonald's to Bojangles. When we went through Georgia, I stopped at a Bojangles and I wanted a chicken biscuit. Yeah, I want a chicken supreme, not supreme, a Cajun filet. Well, that's going to be about 5 minutes. Now, this is what he tells me when I pull up to the window to pay. Well, it's going to be 5 minutes. I'm like, we could threw the Cajun filet in when I ordered before the other car pulled up, and it would have been ready by now. And then it was like, wait a minute. When does Bojangles don't have a Cajun filet biscuit ready? Like, that's like their bread and butter. I'm like, okay, man, I'm kind of in a hurry. Just give me a bacon, egg, and cheese. Well, that's going to be 5 minutes too. I'm like, what in the world you got ready over there? But I mean, it had good food all on the trip. But I mean, it was tough, very tough. One store we went to, coming back, wife's like, hey, before we get on the interstate here, I want to go to the restroom. So we just pulled in, and she's like, oh, the McDonald's has got new drinks, and she has fell in love with this new mango something. Couldn't tell you what it is, but I got 4 drinks and 2 apple pies. Took 35 minutes. That's how crazy it was. It was just, food was not the best. I mean, whew, it was about like the interstates, crowded, packed. But there again, it is the middle of summer and everybody's traveling. So you have to take that with a little bit of grace. But we had a really good time. It was good. My daughter's whole dance team performed amazing. They won so many awards. They won like best studio. Like, I don't even know all the stuff they win because their awards things are kind of complicated, because you got platinums, platinum pluses, and golds and silvers, and I just want the first, second, third. How'd that go? And then you got runner ups, and it's very complicated. All I do is say, "Good job, you did a good job." But we had a good trip. So y'all wonder where I was last Wednesday. I was fishing, like I said I was. We had a really good time, and there's gonna be some videos on that. So hopefully y'all get to see it. If you're wondering about the soccer game, it's still 0-0. U.S. still tied. We want U.S. to pull it through. I think this is about the furthest they ever done before. And it's in the American. It's in the United States playing. So I mean, what can you gotta say something good about that. But I did. That's about. Let's see. Do I have anything else I want to talk about tonight? Not that I know of. Yes, I do. We have talked about it on the channel. Um, the copper shot waterfowl. We talked about it mostly on the Boss side, because Boss is the one that's mass producing the shot. There is other people that are making the shells. There was a memo. I don't know if it was like, it was more of a memo than it was like law, but it kind of was like law. But anyway, saying that only one way you could do these shells, and it kind of threw Boss out. And now they went back and edited the document, and now Boss is legal. But what that means also, where I'm going with this, is us reloaders now are completely legal in the realm of it too. I can say Precision Reloading now has a stamp, a pre-made stamp that says copper shot. So I'm going to be getting one of them so that I can be legal, because per the memo, law abiding, whatever, I really don't know what it's called. I mean, it's really just a memo, but it has weight behind it as kind of like law. But anyway, it says it has to be labeled, and I am not hand labeling copper shot on all my shells. And it has to have this green powder alien stuff in it. But you will start seeing some videos of that. I already reloaded some, got them loaded up. But where I was going with that is that allows us as reloaders to now make this shot or shell, but you can also buy the copper from Boss and Precision Reloading. Now, when I bought my Precision Reloading copper, it was like $65. It's closer to 70 and 75 depending on which one you go with now. So after it got approved, the price went up. Imagine that. Who would have ever thought that? But it's still cheaper than bismuth and TSS. So we shall see. The first little bit of testing I've done with copper, using the Ballistic Product brand, it looks very impressive, like really impressive. I did get a chronograph. I think that's how you say it, chronograph. Yes, definitely starts with a C. I think it's chronograph. Anyway, it's the thing that measures feet per seconds of any gun, any shell, projectile. So I will be testing feet per second on shells now. It'll take me a little bit to get that figured out, but I kind of need that for measuring feet per second for these shells also. But I'm going to be making the shells in 20 gauge, 12 gauge and 28 gauge. So we're going to be doing a lot of video on that, but that's about it. I do want to bring up something on the screen here. While pull it up here. July 4th is coming up. I want to do, what is that? It's something tidbits. Oh man, my brain's dead. Oh, and I know that website too. Something tidbit. I got it pulled up over here. So July 4th is coming up. With that being said, be careful with fireworks. It's going to be dry. It's going to be dry. That's about it. I know a lot of places are talking about banning them, a lot of cities. So be very careful. Also, it doesn't hurt to remind, if you know your neighbor's dealing with some PTSD from war, take that in consideration. I mean, if you know it and they say hey, it's fine, maybe not go all the way up to 12 o'clock. To just take some consideration is where I'm going with that. Tropical tidbits. Whew, mercy. I couldn't, it stinks to get old. Uh, so let's throw tropical tidbits up here, because I do want to show something here. It's going to be really good for us. We are still in a drought. Maybe not completely in drought stage, but we are still definitely hurting for rain. So here we go right here. Here's the weather. I always like to show the weather, and right here is what you want to look at. Here's the date of the first. Um, Going over, it looks like maybe a little bit comes into play tomorrow night in Georgia, Tennessee, kind of fizzes out, but there's a lot of rain in the mid part of the country, upper Midwest, but July 4th. Here's July 4th at 2 a.m. will be really great because that maybe put some moisture down for big fireworks. But it kind of clears up as the day goes by, maybe a little bit up at the top of South Carolina. But for the most part, it looks pretty clear for July 4th weekend. A lot of hot dogs, hamburgers. But coming up on the 6th, all right, so here's the 5th. Here's the 6th. Look at all that moisture. That is what we're needing. The Mississippi, oh my gosh, needs it. Texas needs it. There's so much needed rain out that way. So if you look at the weather, it looks like a good bit of moisture is going to be giving us a lot of moisture over the next 2 weeks that is so needed. Maybe it'll help with this sprig of 1,000 degrees humidity. Hey, I forgot to change my camera. Y'all didn't even see me over here. My bad. I mean, let me go back to my good looking stuff. Hey, how you doing? You see that new camera? Whoa, man, check that out. It's actually got AI that can zoom and everything else, but I turned it off because occasionally I do the Ricky Bobby and I don't know what to do with my hands, and then it was zooming in and out. But check this out. Let me show you something. One cool thing about this camera, where it says zoom in, look how clear that is. Zoom back out. I mean, that thing's got some really quick focus. I'm kind of impressed. Maybe I nerded out on it, maybe so. But anyway, here's the weather. Hey, the whole time I was going through it, I had the wrong screen up. It's like this is my first time doing this. I mean, check that out. Let me start over. Let me just show y'all. I talked about it, but there you go. Look at all that moisture on there. I had it on the wrong screen. It's like this is my first time. I did change up the podcast room, so everything is completely, cables are moved, everything's moved. I even forgot to turn my light on today. So there you go. We talked about the weather, but before closing out tonight, I do want to say, and I don't know why I didn't pull up this screen over here, but who knows? First time ever doing a production show here. Who wants to call it production? But let me throw it up on the screen because what I wanted to show y'all was this right here. Something I read this week. So this big old ship right here, you see that ship? That is a big old ship. And it got me thinking when we went out of Port Canaveral. That's a big old ship. I'm trying to find my mouse here. With that being said, that's a big old ship. But what do we see in the back? And I read this week, and it really brought something to my attention. This big old ship, massive amount of weight, massive carrying, but it's all guided by what? That little rudder. And you're gonna say, well, that ain't really a little rudder. That rudder is about the size of my house. That's true, but compared to the boat, that's a little rudder. Like, that is little compared to that boat. So that got me thinking, and I read something this week that really put two and two together. I want you to think about that rudder, and USA just scored one, so that's 1-0 for us. So think about that rudder right there. That rudder And you're going to be like, how are you going to relate that to something? I'm going to relate that to something here right quick. Big old rudder or little teeny rudder on a big old boat. I'm 6'2" and shrinking. I'm about 240 and growing. I'm shrinking in height, but growing in belly weight. I don't know how you want to look at that. But compare me to that ship, that big old ship, little teeny rudder. This big old guy, and don't even be thinking what y'all, I don't even know what some of y'all are thinking. I'm talking about my tongue. Big old head. And I know some of you were thinking either way over there or little teeny brain. It may be a little teeny brain, but this new camera can follow that pea brain around. So, you know, maybe you don't hear it rattling up there, but the camera can keep up with a little teeny brain. But what got me thinking was that big old ship, little teeny rudder, big old body, little teeny mouth, little teeny tongue. But in James 3:7 says, all kind of animals, birds, reptiles, sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind. So we can go out there and tame a tiger. We can an elephant. We could tame an elephant. We put them in zoos all the time. Do they get wild occasionally? Yes. But for the most part, we can tame them. But no human being can tame his tongue. It is a restless, evil, full of poison. And that got me thinking, that big old ship, it needs that rudder. It's got to have that rudder. We got to have our tongue because we got to talk. But how many times do we sometimes spit out or get frustrated or say something we shouldn't say, or, you know, get mad at somebody? And, you know, a lot of times you can't take back what you say. A lot of times we hurt people. A lot of times we spread the verses. There's a lot of good things that we do from the tongue. And it just got me thinking, that big old boat needs that rudder. Our body needs our tongue. But just like that boat that went into the bridge, that knocked the bridge down, it lost its rudder, lost its power, couldn't steer. As humans, the same thing with us. We lose our tongue. We say stupid stuff. We do a lot of stupid stuff, but there's so much good that can come out of our heart. And if I can find which screen it's on, I want to show you something. All right. Right here. I want to pull this up. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't know. We're going to try to. I heard this from a guy online, and I thought it was very interesting. Very interesting. So let me share this on my screen here. See if we can get it right this time. All right. This is the Mississippi River, and all of the creeks and all the rivers and everything it is. So depending on which way you want to look at it, we're starting down here in New Orleans. I'm going to try to, I don't want to log into Reddit. Let's see if I can zoom. I know I can on different browsers, but I am on Zoom. I can't zoom. Come on. Technical difficulties. It ain't gonna let me zoom. I think I can zoom over here, can I? Nope, cannot. Anyway, let's start down here in New Orleans. Now, what I was just talking about our tongue was, it could be good, it could be bad, but majority of the time I fall in that same scenario. I had to apologize to my kid the other day because I snapped off. I was hurting, I didn't feel good, and I snapped off. I had to call and apologize, which also teaches your kids, hey, if adult can apologize, that means I can apologize. But talking about the tongue, let's say we're down here in New Orleans. This is where we are. We're down here in New Orleans, and we spread the gospel. We tell somebody about Jesus, and then that person tells something about Jesus, and something else about Jesus, something else like Jesus, and you get that right there. That's what you get. You get a whole spreading of the gospel. That right there in New Orleans, when you use your tongue correctly, that right there is called planting a seed. And a lot of times on the channel at the end, that's why I kind of tend to do. I kind of like try to wrap it into something outdoors, fishing, kind of related. That right there, the worm package here that I have, I give these out. We were giving them out in Florida, handing them to somebody that's got like spiritual verses on the back, and they never know that they're getting a pack. They're thinking they're getting a pack of worms, but when you look on the back side, there is a verse on there. Spreading the seed, one little drop, and it can spread just like that Mississippi. Just like that rudder on that big old boat, it is needed. All of us is needed. We all make mistakes. There wasn't but one perfect person, and he went to the cross and paid the sins for all of us. He gave his life for us. So I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. Go watch the rest of the USA game. Hopefully, we pull it out and conveyance. I really don't know much about soccer. My son plays it, but I don't know much about it. So, other than Team USA, come on, we're pulling for you. But hopefully, everybody has a good July 4th weekend. This is the 250th anniversary. And when you're sitting there and watching it, just remember, we would not have that 250 years if it wasn't for our military, if it wasn't for the men and women who died to give us our freedoms to even have fireworks. Just be safe. It's going to be very packed. Yeah, I'm going to be finding the least parking lots to have people in them to watch the fireworks from a distance. But stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water. I say it all the time. If you do drink, get an Uber. Don't take the life of somebody else. Plan ahead. Get an Uber. If you go to a party, don't drive home. Get somebody to take you home or get an Uber. We all live in probably some area now that has Ubers. And with that being said, one thing I did see in Florida was self-driving taxis. They look like Google Earth cars, and I can't remember what the name of it was. It was like Moo something, or I don't remember. I looked it up, but it basically were Uber drivers that were driverless, and you just told them where you were. They come pick you up, and it was self-driving. It was something else to see these cars just driving around everywhere in Florida and nobody driving them. It'd just be somebody in the back seat. I don't know how I would do with that. I don't know. Maybe in Orlando, because you wasn't going to go very fast with traffic. So maybe that was a plus. But yeah. So if you do go out partying, having a good time, or whatever you're going to do, just call somebody, take an Uber, because it's not worth taking somebody else's life, and it's not it's not worth you losing your license and everything else for it. But I'm gonna close this in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for everything you do. I know we're suffering right now with the heat, and just be with the people that have to be out in it. Be with our first responders, our fire, EMS, police, DOT. Be with the people out there that's paving the roads. So many people having to work right now in this heat. I know I work in the air conditioning. I know that it's easy for me to say stay cool when somebody else is out there having to work and provide in the heat. Keep them safe, Lord. Keep them hydrated. Give them a little wind. Give them a little shade. Let them come home. Let their family be appreciative of them when they do come home, that know that they're out providing for them. Be with our military. Keep them safe over there. The conflict with Iran isn't ending anytime soon. Be with our military. Be with our military family as they're over here. Keep them safe and protected. Thank you for letting us have 250 years of freedom. We are free here in the United States. So thank you for that. Thank you for allowing us to worship you. Thank you for sending your son to die on the cross. And there's so many blessings that we overlook every day. And as I was saying with my tongue, please forgive me when I fail you. I try to use it to the best in spreading Jesus' name. Let my body control my tongue. Let my mind, let my inside, let my spirit control my tongue. Just like that big ship with that rudder. It is part of the ship that is needed. Our tongue is what needed. Let us spread this a seed of your name, just like the Mississippi, and let it spread. Thank you for everything you name. In Jesus' name, amen. So hopefully everybody has a good, safe 4th of July. And I will see y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And here's our word from our sponsor,
Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew.
Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service, LLC, prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC.